Hello बच्चों, so I welcome you all to the daily newspaper analysis at Tathastu-ICS brought by me. As I always tell you, based on the feedback which was provided by the offline students in the class, they said, ma'am, we want to know what are all the articles that we have to cover for that day. As because of the time limitation, definitely we are not going to cover each and every article in detail in daily newspaper analysis. We will be taking one or two articles in detail, based on which we will be solving previous year question paper and we'll be looking at the expected question that can be followed. So let me show you the first page where I have mentioned all the articles that you have to cover. Please open your newspaper, tick them, mark them and go through those articles on your own. They are easy to be understood. There's nothing to be explained or discussed. Save your time, just read on your own and get on with it. And the next article that we'll be dealing is about international relations, and that is about the paradoxical nature of India's influence, that globally India's influence is rising. There are various evidences for this, that is the inclusion of India in various international platforms, but India's influence is declining in the subcontinent or in its immediate neighborhood, that we will be discussing in detail through that article. So let me show you the first page, and that is the articles that you need to cover are these ones. So please open the newspaper and mark them. Swell waves likely to strike coastal areas over weekend. So the inquires, so you have to understand what is meaning of the inquires. Page number 5, this is important for prelims syllabus, general issues on environmental ecology, biodiversity and climate change. The second article, paradox of India's global rise is regional decline. Let's keep it on hold. We will be taking it in detail. So this is important for international relations, paper 2, page number 6. Then on the third article that you need to cover it, this is the year to get the SDG goals back on track, page number 6, GS paper 3. Then the next article that you need to look at is India press freedom score fell over the last year, RSF, page number 10, prelims syllabus, current events of national and international importance. Then the next article that you need to read from today's newspaper of the Hindu is organ donation hit by poor identification of brain death cases. Page number 10, GS paper 2, issues relating to development and management of social sector services relating to health, education, human resource. This could come in prelims and mains as well. Sixth article जो आपको पढ़ना है is India Indonesia agree to enhance defense industry collaboration, page number 10. Then seventh article, March mining output growth slows to 1.2% in signal for IIP, index for industrial production, page number 11, important for GS paper 3. So these are the 7 articles that you need to cover from newspaper in detail. The one which we are going to take up in detail is the paradox of India's global rise, its regional decline. तो paradox का मतलब क्या होता है? Lot of students ask me, ma'am, how to increase our articulation skill. Articulation मतलब क्या होता है? In least possible manner, in least possible words, you can express in effective manner. तो पैराडॉक्स का मतलब क्या होता है? पैराडॉक्स मतलब contrasting stance, contrasting और contrasting statements or contrasting position. मतलब something if is going up, another is going down. So contrasting stance, this is paradox. What is paradox? I've already mentioned. Let's read that. First of all, before we take up this article, let me show you the questions which has been asked by UPSC based on such topics and what could be expected kind of question that could come. So PYQ, the diverse nature of India is as a multi-religious and multi-ethnic society is not immune to the impact of radicalism, which has been in her neighborhood. Discuss along with the strategies to be adopted to counter this environment. 200 words, 12.5 marks. UPSC Civil Services Mains in 2014 in paper 3 it has been asked. ठीक है, तो practice question देखो आप, इस पे क्या आ सकता है? How does the paradoxical nature of India's foreign policy, paradoxical nature of India's foreign policy marked by global rise and regional decline. तो यही paradox है, that India is rising globally but declining regionally. Impact is aspirations for global leadership. Discuss potential strategies to address this paradox. So you have to discuss what is the paradoxical nature of India's foreign policy, and you have to discuss the cause of the decline, then further the impact of such for paradox on India's aspiration for global leadership. This has been, let's say, is asked in 150 words, 10 mark. So how will you solve it? Let's read that. So let's deconstruct and understand the article in easy manner. If there is any difficulty to understand from the newspaper, this I have the same content I have put in easier manner for you to understand. So the context क्या है article का? The paradoxical nature of India's foreign policy. This is the context. So ये कह रहा है कि इंडिया का जो rise है globally, that is there, but regionally is decline. So this is the paradox of India's stance, India's position. Introduction. The understanding the paradox. क्या है paradox? Global rise, regional decline. India's global rise. How it is evident that India is rising globally? Let's look at this part. So read this line. India's aggregate power has surged in last 2 decades. जो effective power है that of India, that has increased. That could be seen in past 20 years. Evident in economic growth. So how we can say that India's aggregate power is increasing? Evident in economic growth. There is economic growth. There is military capability and global recognition through participation in key forums like G20 and Quad. Because now you have to know what is G20 and Quad. So G20 is group of 20 countries, international forum for the governments and central bank governments from 19 countries and European Union. So this is about G20, established in 1999. So these are some of the basic facts of G20. You can read on your own. I have just mentioned because it came in the discussion. Also I have mentioned what is Quad. Question can come from these, like what is Quad? Read from here. The Quad is an informal strategic forum comprising the United States, Japan, India and Australia. So these are the 4 countries. Quad matlab 4. So what are the 4 countries? United States, Japan, India and Australia. It was formed in 2007, reviewed in 2017. Quad conducts consultation and joint exercises to enhance cooperation on security and defense issues. So this is a little bit about Quad and G20. Because our presence at the Quad and G20 has increased, that shows that India's presence globally, India's global presence, global effectivity has increased. This is evident through the participation. Now, its inclusion in multiple groups underscores is geopolitical significance, that we already seen. Now, regional decline, how we can say that India's decline regionally, India has declined. How it is evident? India's influence in South Asia has weakened compared to the Cold War era. So this is quite evident. How? Because of the presence of China in its neighborhood. China का जो presence है वो बढ़ रहा है and इसका influence जो है neighboring countries जो India की है वो बढ़ रही हैं, because of which India's presence is declining. So this is the paradoxical nature of India's foreign policy. So now viewing, so क्या हो रहा है कि जो neighborhood countries हैं, they are seeing China as a hedge. Now another vocab, आपको easy vocab भी थोड़ा pick करना चाहिए newspaper से. तो another vocab क्या है? Vocab is hedge. Hedge मतलब something which is being used as a fence or a wall to insulate oneself from some other danger. तो China को as a hedge use कर रहे हैं neighboring countries against India. इम्पैक्ट क्या है चाइना के राइज का? जो चाइना का इमरजेंस है रीजनली एज अ सुपर पावर, इट हैज पोज्ड अ चैलेंज फॉर इंडियाज इन्फ्लुएंस इन साउथ एशिया. सो नाउ देयर इज अ नीड टू रिविजिट इंडिया स्ट्रेटजी एंड हाउ इट इज. इंडिया मस्ट एक्नॉलेज दैट देयर इज अ नीड फॉर अ रिविजिट इन इट्स फॉरेन पॉलिसी एंड हाउ इट कैन डू इट. It can do it by focusing on strengths such as cultural ties and engaging with maritime Indo-Pacific to counterbalance continental challenges. Now, India should also focus on its soft power. तो ये soft power जो है international relation में बहुत important term है. आपको ये भी पता होना चाहिए कि soft power क्या है. Let's understand what is the soft power. What is the meaning of soft power? Soft power refers to nations' ability to influence others through culture, values, diplomatic initiatives rather than military or economic coercion. अब cultural values and diplomatic initiatives में sports भी आता है, ठीक है? So this is when we use such factors to pose our influence or we base our diplomatic initiative based on these factors, this is called as soft power in contrast to use of military or economic coercion. So elements कौन कौन से soft power के? Cultural exports, diplomacy, education, global leadership in various fields. So soft power of India, कहाँ soft power India अपना exercise कर सकता है? Let's look at that. So cultural richness, Bollywood, yoga, Ayurveda, through these India can exercise soft power. Diverse cuisine, historical legacy, ancient civilization, philosophy, spirituality, Buddhism, Jainism, etc. diplomacy, non-alignment, peacekeeping efforts, global advocacy, education, growing importance of Indian universities and diaspora. Next is economic growth, emerging market status and entrepreneurship spirit. Third is fifth point is technology, IT industry prowess. जैसे बैंगलोर को अपने सिलिकॉन वैली बोला जाता है, तो then this is like in terms of technology. Then diversity, unity in diversity, showcasing pluralism and tolerance. So what are the implication of India's global aspirations? क्या हो सकता है? जो पैराडॉक्स है उससे इंडिया पे जो इम्पैक्ट है उसका क्या इम्प्लीकेशन है और वे फॉरवर्ड हमने देख लिया. लेट्स लुक एट द इम्प्लीकेशन. द पैराडॉक्स रेजेस क्वेश्चंस. जो ये पैराडॉक्स का सिचुएशन हमने देखा, हाउ इट इज इम्पैक्टिंग इंडिया, व्हाट कुड बी इट्स इम्पैक्ट और इम्प्लीकेशन ऑन इंडियाज ग्लोबल एस्पिरेशन. जो इंडिया की ग्लोबल एस्पिरेशन है टू राइज एज अ लीडरशिप ग्लोबली, टू बी अ ग्लोबल लीडर, उस पर क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ रहा है. द पैराडॉक्स रेजेस क्वेश्चंस अबाउट इंडियाज एबिलिटी टू मेंटेन ग्लोबल लीडरशिप if it fails to address or fails to rise to the expectation. Addressing the paradox requires nuanced approach, balancing regional concerns with global issues. Conclusion में कैसे points इस तरीके से concluding remarks कैसे दे सकते हैं? India's foreign policy must navigate the complexities of global rise and regional decline, leveraging soft power to maintain influence in its neighborhood. Let's say there was a question which we had seen. Let me show it again. If you have to practice this question, this one, we have seen the significance of such topics from this question which has been asked previously. Now look at the expected question, kind of question which could be asked from this topic. So this is the question which could be asked. If you have to attempt, it's very easy to understand the content we have already discussed. Try to attempt this question and see if you can write the answer with ease and with less effort, because हमने सारे aspects को डील कर लिया है और आर्टिकल में राइटर ने यही डिस्कस किया है. यही पूरे कंटेंट को मैंने इजी तरीके से हेडिंग, सब हेडिंग और क्वेश्चन आंसर फॉर्मेट में आपके लिए प्रेजेंट कर दिया है. सो यू कैन चेक दिस हैंड आउट फॉर दिस कंटेंट फ्रॉम टेलीग्राम चैनल ऑफ Tathastu-ICS. You can download that handout from Telegram. This is your notes and practice. See if you can solve this question. Now I'll see you tomorrow with another discussion on daily newspaper analysis, especially the editorials. Till then, Tathastu bachcho, all the best.